Call this meeting to order and stand for the pledge. If you please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our first meeting is not going to happen. Our first two meetings.
Peter said he might come in late. He's on.
Okay, well,
And then Steffanie, she's not coming in at all. I'm handling her portion.
okay. Go ahead. Handle
Okay,
it.
so right now we're handling. The town is updating its local hazard mitigation plan. The board has their packet. Should have this in their packet. We're letting the board know that now's the time to make changes as you see fit to the draft, which is right there. If you read through it and you have changes you'd like to make, you can email Steffanie, or you can give them to me so I can email Steffanie to make those changes. We're doing, this is online as well for residents to make public comment. But public comment is being accepted between 11:26 and 12:10, so I think next week is the close of that period. So if the board does have, if members of the board do have changes, you have to get it to us pretty quick.
Has Jim looked at this as well?
Jim's on the committee.
Yep.
Yep.
I had a couple, and I'll get them to you tomorrow.
Perfect. And that is the presentation for this.
That was
Perfect.
That's why Steffanie didn't come in.
Homework.
And more to follow. We're going to be hearing from you as you go into the next phase of.
Yeah, so after Steffanie incorporates all the changes or any of the comments, then it'll come back to the board for their final approval, and then I believe it goes right to the state after that for their first review.
Good.
So things chugging right along.
Amendments to the agenda.
None for me tonight.
Nope.
None. There are none. Approval of minutes for November 12th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from November 12th as written.
Second.
Second.
Additions, deletions, corrections? Let's see.
Look good.
Good for you.
First time.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. 5 minutes for public comment.
Take it away.
You're
Me?
on.
I'm on.
I
Wow.
wanted to go early.
Whew. All right, I like this. So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Kelly Donaldson. I am a past department president for the American Legion Auxiliary. That's for the state of Vermont. I am currently the vice president for the American Legion Auxiliary here in Fairhaven. And I am the national executive committee woman for the whole United States. Yeehaw. Don't let it get to your head. It's not anything
We
great.
got royalty. We
We
have royalty.
have royalty. I expected that.
Great title. And
So
well
the
paid.
reason I'm here is a lot of you have seen in some of our close towns the hometown banners of our veterans or a loved one, past, present, hanging on our telephone poles. And it came to light to me when we added the lights to the park. I think it looks beautiful. I think the wreaths added to that. I think our park is starting to come back to what we used to have when we were kids, and I'm grateful for that, so thank you. I would like to see, I would like to propose that we do some hometown hero banners here in Fairhaven. I would like to call it Fairhaven Hometown Heroes. Makes sense? That would include Orwell, Benson, you know, our little community that doesn't have a home, you know, and our school community.
West Haven.
Yeah, West Haven. I know Fairhaven technically really deals, I know they have Castleton and Hubbardton. Castleton has an American Legion, so we don't want to step on anybody's toes doing so. If they care to join us, that's great. So in a nutshell, and I have to go back to my note, Dee Colte, who has been my go-to person, spearheaded this in Bennington, Vermont. And she had a goal and ran with it. It's absolutely beautiful. If you drive through Bennington and you go past the Vermont Veterans Home, it's all banners. It's absolutely beautiful. And because I'm such a big advocate for our veterans, I think that it would be really nice to see us honor them every single day, not just Memorial Day, not just Veterans Day, every single day. So our objective is, and if I get to her message, Dee kind of gave me a little. The objective is to honor our local veterans, living or deceased, by obtaining customized banners to be displayed on poles among managed town streets. So that's the thing. It has to be on a managed town street. It cannot be on a state highway. However, because around our park and where our town center is, that is managed, those roads are managed by our town. So we can use that. Does that make sense? You look confused.
You're talking Washington from McDonald's down is okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. As long as the road is maintained by our town.
It's a class 1 town road, yes.
Correct.
They'll pave it, the state paves it, but we maintain it. So
We
yeah,
maintain it.
that's
We
all the
get-
way through.
Maintain it.
We get.
Meaning
reimbursed
snow
for
removal,
one.
that kind of thing. Green Mountain Power is on board. It has to go on their poles, so they've been dealing with Green Mountain Hometown Heroes, which is Bennington. It has to go on their pole. We have to get their permission. They've been working with us great. We don't see a problem with that happening. The cost is $190 per banner. That would come from the family of the loved one that wanted to get it up. Each veteran, I can't put Rich Greeno up there 5 times. Each veteran gets 1 banner. You're not.
I can't have 10 banners?
I love Rich Greeno, but he gets 1 banner.
Yeah.
We don't want to keep driving around the park and just
Different
see.
picture on every pole.
Yeah, different picture of him in every pole. So the $190 is the cost of the banner, the hooks to hook it, to hold it, $20 worth of administrative fees. Those administrative fees, if you see on that, you'll see some red spots that need to be filled in. An email, post office box. We are not going to use the Legion mailing address because it's not a Legion thing. We're going to have to get a post office box for all of this to go to, so that we keep it separated, we make sure that it's going to the right place. So that $20 extra from that will maintain that charge. We will set up an email. We'll have an address for it to go to. If you write a check, that check has to clear before the banner is ordered. They've come into a couple of issues where that didn't happen, so that needs to happen. But I've just been told that Dee is on, so if there are questions specific, I will probably resort to her, but, let's see, what else can I tell you?
When do you
Time up.
plan on having your end finalized and having actual applications out?
So I would like to see, so the only thing that I see, and I talked to Bob about this last night at the Legion meeting, the only thing I see where we might run into a little roadblock is the town workers would have to put them up.
That's would have been my question. What's the ask of the town?
The ask of the
You
town
want the
is-
DPW to put the,
There is no charge to the town other than asking your workers to help us put it up. They're not,
Okay.
we're not asking them to, it's not going to do anything to your taxes. This is a total separate thing. It's $190. It all goes to the Hometown Heroes Project. I just need, and I know that, you know, staffing wise, that could be an issue, but I think it's liability. I'm pretty sure that it's a liability thing, making sure that nobody gets hurt putting them up and sues the town. We don't want that to happen. So I think that's probably the main reason why they want the workers to do it.
At this point, the main ask is just that we're okay with the basic idea, and then we have to figure out how we do the,
Can I interrupt here just
Sure.
to clarify that a little bit?
That's difficulty
About
better.
installing banners. The town would have to connect with your power company, which I believe is Green Mountain Power,
Yes.
because of their liability issues. They would request that the town install the banners. Otherwise, the organization or the group that is installing banners would have to have a $500,000 liability insurance policy,
That's
where the town probably already has set up.
Makes sense?
just a matter of coordinating and seeing if we can come up with some
Staffing.
sort of logical time frame. I mean, you know, that, for me, I'm just thinking it's just, we pick a day and that's what they do that day, but, you know, whatever, we'll figure that part out, I would think. But for the immediate thing is just that you need us to agree that we're okay with the idea, correct?
That is correct.
Well, so it's, I think to be clear, I think it's a great program and I like this very much. I wish I could do one for my grandfather. But to be 100% clear, we're gonna put them up, but then the wind's gonna knock them down, some poles will break, some banners will need to be replaced. It's not like one and done. This is gonna be a town maintaining banners in perpetuity.
So when a banner is damaged, and Dee, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that we go back to the family. I'm gonna go back to Rich's family and say, sorry, the banner's bent. That banner is owned by the family.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go back and say,
That is correct.
I'm gonna
If
go
the
back to
town
his family and
doesn't-
say, do you wanna replace it?
Or if the family doesn't want the banner on a town, it has to be on a town-maintained road or street. It cannot be on a state-maintained road. The family can purchase it and put it on their own property.
Yes. So you can have one in your front yard.
Cool.
But what Joe's asking is, if the banner comes down, it would then be the town's job, the DPW's, to put it back up.
The town would have to put it back
So
up
would be
once
a
it came in.
constant.
Yeah.
It's not just once we're talking about,
Right.
we're talking about for now and forever.
Hopefully, and I think,
Which is not, you know, I just want to be clear on what it is.
Yes.
It's not
and I
just,
think that it's rare that that's going to happen. Dee, am I right? What's the span on one banner? 5 years?
Oh, no. We have 68 banners up in Bennington at the moment. We've had an issue with one banner, and the manufacturer replaced it because it ripped a little bit in the corner the day after it was placed. Otherwise, there's probably a good 2-year lifespan for the banners.
We probably replace more pedestrian crossing signs in the middle of the road than banners.
sure.
Probably.
Yeah.
We're absolutely right, Judd.
Are there any other questions? Because being in, go ahead.
Comments on comments. Hate to ask the question, but do we know how many banners you're gonna be looking to put up? And do you have enough telephone poles? And are people going to be okay in not deciding where their banner goes?
They cannot reserve a spot. So Rich cannot say, I want that pole right there.
Right.
It's not gonna happen.
How many poles, how many banners?
Well, it depends how active your town is and
There's
how.
plenty of poles. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
But it would depend how many applications.
they go up and down, in Granville, they go up and down all streets and,
both sides.
Right.
you know, so.
So how many veterans is your audience?
Well, it could be, I mean, I'd like to see every single one of them up there.
How many are there?
Too many.
Looking for a number.
I don't know.
Okay.
I really couldn't tell you. They can be deceased. You know, I want to honor my grandfather,
Right.
who's been passed, and have him up. So
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'd like to see every single telephone pole. But
I think we have enough for the people that will participate. I don't think that's gonna be a problem.
I think you're going to see a lot of activity like you do with Jeff Eaton when he does the flags.
Well, that's the other thing I was gonna say, and then I was gonna say that we're well over our 5 minutes.
Yes, we are.
That we have to coordinate with the
Green Mountain
Masons. And the Masons too, because they got flags, so we have to make sure there's space, you know, so.
It could always go
It's just-
underneath the flag.
yeah, there's plenty of ways to work it. We can make this work. I don't think that's a problem.
You're not going to get all your answers from me in 5 minutes.
No,
You know me too well, Bob.
I know. That's what I said to him, why didn't you put her on the agenda so we can have the time? But anyways,
That's okay.
right, is there any other questions that aren't? We're on board.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, the general consensus, the board is,
Long time
go
coming
ahead.
in this area.
Great.
So do you say consensus?
Yeah, I don't think we need to make a motion.
No,
I would
not
just-
at this point.
We approve the concept and everything, I bet the devil's in the detail, go figure the detail.
Okay,
Come back to
Yeah.
us, but we're.
We'll come back to you.
We're ready to go.
All right. Yay!
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Good, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Stop by anytime.
Oh, I'm sure you'll be seeing me. Bet you can't wait.
Anyone else, 5 minutes for public comment? Sir?
Yeah, I missed your last meeting for one reason or another, but I actually just wanted to say a positive comment about the use of the old asphalt material on Munger Road, which keeps my feet much drier when I walk my dog down that road every single morning. Nice job,
You did a nice job.
very nice job.
Thank you.
It's a big difference, yeah. Anyone else? Thank you. All right, we're gonna move on. Department head reports. Looks like you're the department head at this point. Oh, whoa, we got,
Oh, man, let's let Reese go first.
Yes.
Can Reese go first?
yes, Reese can go first.
I'll go first. Reese DeCastro, Fairhaven Recreation Director. I've never done one of these budget reports, so I'm gonna try my best, bear with me. Yeah, our budget, not too much changing.
No, you're just gonna, the budget's coming up, you're just gonna talk about, you're gonna give a report on what you've been up to in the last 2 weeks.
Playing
Then we'll get you
basketball.
later on the.
Yeah, that's fine.
Then we'll hammer you.
Yeah, perfect. Playing basketball, had a trunk or treat, was our first annual one, really good. Had like 20 trunks, had 200 people. My trunk ran out of candy like 15 minutes in, so we had to send someone to go get some. I didn't think it would be that big of a thing, but I mean, we were handing out candy nonstop for an hour. A lot of people loved it. Said it was really good for young kids, especially 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, where parents don't have to worry about them at night with cars. So I think it was a really good thing for young families. A lot of people really liked it. Plan on doing it next year. Ran youth soccer. We were in the green for youth soccer, which was a really big deal considering we bought 2 nets, made our own field, had jerseys. It was really good. Got a lot of positive feedback on that. Yeah, back to basketball. Busy planning that. Still am. Changed our gym situation a little bit. Collaborated with Castleton instead of Benson. Made it easier for us to get over there. More convenient for families. Got us some gym time at Castleton Rec for 3rd and 4th grade, and then the high school's still doing clinics for the younger kids on the weekends, which is really important for youth. Let's see what else. Probably missing a lot more, but it's pretty much what I've been up to. A bunch of other stuff, some,
Moving.
yeah. Yeah, so it's been productive.
Thank you.
Yep.
Now you're right.
My turn. Oh, okay, very quickly. So I've started working on a subdivision for the Union Street properties. That's with Phil right now. We're taking those 3 properties and turning them into 2 properties to make them conforming lots. Once that's approved, we'll then sell those properties, so that way they can be built on. The accountant has started her move. She's actually in her new office next door here where the Historical Society used to be. They're sharing that space now until the heat does go in upstairs, and then the Historical Society will be up in
Who was in there?
the new accountant,
Oh,
Terry Perry. We've started the onesie program up. This is the program where we mail our newborn children onesies and just welcome them to the community. So that's back. This time I was told that the onesies should be bigger because babies are not this big anymore. They're much larger, so I took that advice.
they never were.
I got the small one. We're doing a little bit of beaver trapping up at the water source. If you hear about that, a beaver moved in, so we're gonna catch those guys. I have a reappraisal, so the listers developed a reappraisal, an RFP, request for proposal for reappraisal. That's on my desk now. I'm gonna review that and hopefully get it out next week.
Are we mandated to reappraise? Have we
We are.
Have we gotten that letter?
Yeah, we got the letter and the.
It said maybe. I thought it was a.
It said you will.
For when?
It should be like 3 years out. We just can't find anybody to do the work right now.
Okay.
So it's not gonna happen tomorrow, that's for sure. The big news, I think it was last week, about the leak at the trailer park. So the guys did a nice job. They fixed that line, though it was a lot more work than anticipated. They found the leak, and then they dug back a little bit to reconnect, and it broke again, and they dug back, and it broke again. And that, I think it was 40+ feet of line that had to be replaced. The auditor's here. Let me see, the auditor's here starting tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He'll be in to do some of the field work for the fiscal year 24 budget, or fiscal year 24, budget. And, let's see, that's really all I got for you. It's been a calm 2 weeks.
Questions? I guess a little bit of explanation for the repairing the water line is probably merited.
Why we replaced it?
And on advice and.
Sure. So, in the town ordinance, so the reason, this is a private line, to be clear, that it's not town responsibility. However, in our town ordinance, there's a clause in there that says if a private citizen wants the town to replace their supply line, the town will replace the supply line for, I think, $1,500.
So I ran that, like, time when my boss and I came out, and he said, we're not charging enough for that. He said it should be double that at least.
Well, it hasn't been changed in a while.
Yeah.
It's gotta be revisited.
Yeah, he
I
said
didn't
that's-
even know
he's
that
like-
existed.
He's like, why would you hire an outside company at that price?
No.
He's like, you're getting, when we use,
We need to
Go down
revisit
what
all
we-
those policies ASAP and get up to, standard pricing.
Yeah, well, in a personal opinion, we shouldn't touch those lines anyway.
Exactly.
Because now that line is our line, and forever that we will be responsible
Right.
for it. It doesn't matter what happens to it from now on. The town touched it 100 years ago, it's your responsibility.
Right.
So, yeah, I disagreed with it when it was added, and I still disagree with it. It's a private line, it's not a town responsibility.
Well, we gotta redo that ordinance.
So, yeah, that's why I had thought about just not doing it, but that it would be very obvious that we were breaking the ordinance, and I wasn't about to do that. So, we were in a tough situation.
You're talking about the trailer park leak.
Green Mountain Mobile Man.
And did we send a request to the state to get reimbursed?
I didn't know.
Just wanted that, because they're the main reason we're still playing with that trailer park. I'd
That's,
send them the bill.
yep,
I would
They
too.
could- Most they could do is say no.
yeah. You'll get what you
They
ask for.
said yes we did pretty well on the welcome center. But again,
Different
just
thing,
my 2 cents.
different setup, but
Different setup, but
all they can do is say no.
I can send it to him.
I think it's
Any
the
other
right thing that we went in and that the problem's solved, but it wouldn't have been a problem had we'd already had that trailer park, should have been empty before that line broke.
That is correct.
So and the only reason, I personally feel,
And
is the
the
state.
problem's not really
So
solved.
and the problem's a long way
It's
from solved.
not a long ways from solved. That could happen tonight again.
So even if they say no, we're on record
Property line with good section, that's only gonna.
saying you're costing
pressurize
a municipality a lot of
Yeah.
money that we don't have.
Gotta find this next week is Point and Break.
I just,
Yep, it's,
All in a matter of
I'm not
time.
arguing with you at all. Any other questions for the town manager?
Yeah, I got a quick question. Back during the summer, we're talking about some signposts that we needed to be replaced. Apparently, the signposts come in wrong at one point. And a pile of wrong signposts are still sitting at the shop. So,
Those gotta go back.
well, I mean, this has been quite some time they've been sitting there. And that don't cut it with I don't like that.
I'll let Nate know.
Was that from Pelkey Avenue?
Oh, he's back.
Bourque Avenue one was fixed. We found some parts and pieces to repair that.
But the signposts were for,
The signposts were ordered for replacements and they were wrong and they never got returned. And I don't think the right ones ever got ordered. So here we sit with no oars in the water.
Move on that. Anything else?
just, if the chief was here and gave a police report, did he, we have a new SRO, person at the high school, Officer Hunter retired, did he retire?
Yes, Officer Hunter did retire.
And we have, I think Lori Delance, is that her?
Yeah.
No, I just thought it's nice to share that we have a new SRO.
Yep,
at,
Officer Hunter retired and he moved south to go to warmer weather. Lori took over, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. Mr. Hunter trained her for a few days and I hear she's doing a great job so
Yeah.
far.
So I welcome her aboard, yeah. That's all.
Good. No old business, new business is the purchase option for the Skyline Grant.
Yes. So we're still waiting on the property owner to work with his lawyer, with his legal folk to agree on some language. So that one's still on hold.
Okay.
Were you able to finally get a hold of him? I know you were having.
Yeah, I met with I met with our lawyer, his lawyer, and I did talk to Sean.
And I'm sure they got more than one company, but I thought it was Yorkmont, not Yorkshire.
I thought it was Yorkmont too.
I think it is Yorkmont.
So, I'm sure they'll point that out at some point. So we can hold off on this. If anybody has anything that scares them, we've got time to review it again if you need to. But direct your questions to the town manager. Okay? All right, budget. Dean is first on page 2.
And, yeah, the only reason that, the professional services went up is the cost of the contract went up. It is what it is. That for, the auditor that we hired to come in, I think it went from 18,000 to 22,000.
Excuse me, clear.
We signed that agreement a couple
Right.
of meetings ago.
Yes, we have that, though so I added an increase to 22, but we will definitely need a single audit, so, we will need an extra 2,000 in fact, to cover the audit plus the, single audit that's bound
So
to
the
show
single
up.
audit, so we need to make, that 24 instead of 22?
Yes.
That's a $6,000 increase.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just- It is what it is on that one.
You're adding how much here?
2,000 on line,
So you have to make
010,
it 24 instead?
Yeah.
Okay.
3440, 6.00, yep.
Any other questions on that? If none, delinquent tax is next.
Yep.
Everybody good with that $1,000?
Well, the question I have is, you're doing a lot of the research, so it's a 0, but, for professional services, but, I'd like to know how much time you're spending on it, and would it be worth hiring?
Oh, no, we do really well by doing our own tax sales.
Well, I get that, but we get that money back anyway. It doesn't cost us, it's a wash, correct?
No, the lawyer gets, I forget what the percentage is, but he'll take a percentage.
Right.
And then on low dollar amounts, they refuse to do them because there's no money to take,
Okay.
right? So if there's a,
Okay,
yeah.
just a question.
And honestly, I haven't in the since COVID, I think I've only done some research and people pay, as soon as they hear we're doing something, the money gets paid pretty quick. So it's not a huge lift.
It's not a large list or a
Okay.
big number.
No, I mean, we need to get at it, but it's not very onerous.
Where are we in, which is off the subject?
I can pull the report.
No, maybe next time, for next time. Municipal building, page 4.
Yeah, the 010, 371010, where it looked like the salary went from the budget of $890 to $3,500. That was, well,
Yep. So,
was a pretty big, I was just curious what that is.
yeah, so this goes back to that the hardest thing that we deal with is our salary for our public works, because public works is spread across not just highway. They also come in and they maintain this building. So if they spend more time maintaining this building, then that number goes up. And that's what you're seeing there is an average, a 5-year average of that number going up. Or I guess 3-year average. So, it's,
Okay, good. The only reason, because they looked like the two actuals were just over 1,000. So it seemed like a $2,000 increase, which it went up quite a bit versus,
Did we switch telephone companies?
we did.
Okay. Considerable savings, it looks like.
The first year, so we actually switched telephone companies twice. The first year I was told you're gonna save a bunch of money on your telephones, and the price went up about 70%.
Oh.
So I fought with them about it, and they're like, so I changed to Comcast, and it saved us a ton of money. Yeah, it was a struggle, but we're not gonna pay that much money for phone.
looks like 60.00, the technology services, that took a, 15.5, our actual was for 23 and 24, were like 29,000 and 23. We were budgeted for 10,000. My question on that one is that enough?
That's enough. For our technology services, we had a lot of, I think we had $10,000 each year for NEMRIC help to help our accountants.
Okay, that's what.
So there still is a little bit in there. So our NEMRIC costs went up to 9,000, they had a 3% increase. We have tech support for NEMRIC, and then a little bit for tech support for the accountant, that's 4,000. And then web maintenance is 2,500, that's what gets you to your 15.5.
15.5.
Our webmaster, the woman that maintains the site though, she recommended adding 500 for a, what do you call it? Not spear phishing, when people come in and they hack your website.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I just don't know
Yes.
where it is.
So we found somebody, it might have been Laura, she clicked on a link that should have taken you to the Chamber of Commerce on our website, and instead it took you to an Asian gambling site. So that's kind of,
You know.
so it was kind of funny, but at the same time, somebody got in.
Yeah.
And so she recommended this, a program to protect the site, which costs
Firewall.
we have a firewall, it's something more.
Firewall.
Double fire, yeah, the double firewall.
Okay.
So she wanted to add $500 to that for additional protection.
Okay, and so that makes sense to me. Under utilities, electric, 010-3710-76, looks like we actually were doing 22 and 23,000. We had 6 and went to 10.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for the logic of how we got to 10.
So for this line, when you get to streetlights, for the last 2 years, some of the streetlight money was being tagged to the municipal building, the electrical for streetlights. We're getting tagged to Muni buildings, which makes that number look high.
That's why then, okay.
So streetlights is less, but municipal building was overexpended. That doesn't account for the total increase. I crunched the numbers, and we are using more electricity, and the price has gone up. So that 10,000 should cover us at the Muni building.
Okay. And I'm thinking in terms of, with the MERP grant we had, and if we put our heat pumps upstairs, we're gonna continue to use a little more electricity. I just wanted to, okay.
We did, I'm sorry, were you done?
Yep.
For 3710-5601, the copier line, I did get a quote for a copier, because ours is, I think, more than a decade old. Right now, we have $1,500 in there. We would have to add an extra $2,000 to get a new copier. So it would have to be $3,500 if the board would like to do that.
SimQuest.
Color copy, we need,
You go through SimQuest.
This is, bear with me and I'll get my quote.
Either way. That's a reason.
It's Office Systems of Vermont. Yep. And this is one of those lease to own, so we're buying it as we're using it. Which what happened here, I think we did 60 months for the one we have, and now we own it, and we've got another 5 years out of it or something.
So in other words, we're gonna put that up to $2,550 instead of $5,550?
3,500.
Yeah.
$3,500, right?
$3,500.
$2,000.
Right.
And that's gonna be a color copier, so that, the reason I asked is how we have our EDC newsletter, and we could print colored copies of that to hand out.
This is not color
buy the
copy,
ink.
but I
No?
know I can. And I just got this quote I think 2 days ago, so.
That one's not?
No, this is not color. A color copy is expensive. I have a small color copier that I can use.
Okay, so we still have the ability to do that then?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're saying is you want that to be 3,500, as Rich was saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
It-
It is, if it's one of the,
Everybody okay with that?
I mean, copper is pretty vital, I think.
yeah, you need it, I don't know how Tater's write it down twice, but we can't.
That's all, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, it's like-
That's it.
I do
I've been
believe,
holding off for years, I'm like, I'm not gonna do
We're
it.
I
not
do
gonna
believe
wrap
this
the
one has
present
been
for you,
causing
but it's,
problems.
we'll give you a
Sure.
copy.
Okay.
Doesn't take.
It's
Thank you, guys.
been eating up a lot of paper, I understand, right?
It's been terrible.
Let's see.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Cemetery. Okay.
What cemetery?
Yep.
Yeah. The salary is the first line item. Is this more in line with what our FY '25 actuals are, or are we anticipating
Right.
more work in the cemetery?
So that number reflects not just a 3% increase, but a 6% increase. This is this is one extra dollar for all the staff. So Joe Festa, Mr. Dayton, and I forget Gary's last name, but Gary, the one that works at the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you see a larger increase there. They did pick up a couple more hours down at West Street Cemetery because that cemetery it needed some help. So yeah, we got more hours and.
So what you're
Increase
saying
in
is
salary.
for the type of work they're doing, you made a structure adjustment because we were paying them pretty low, so they each are getting $1 more an hour,
Yes.
basically?
They
And
we probably would have lost them.
right,
at some point.
we were getting a heck of a bargain out of it. It's,
Yeah.
the right thing would to give them the increase,
Yep.
so I don't have a problem with that, no.
And honestly, it's not like,
It's not,
it's $17 an hour and $18.50 an hour, so it's not,
right.
they're not getting rich.
And it's part-time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else there?
My only question on cemetery, I remember when Mrs. McNeil came in with her list of things, and I just want to make sure, probably the biggest dollar item was the tree removal, that we do tree removal as needed and not necessarily
Yeah, but,
from this,
yeah, but she requested a $10,000 tree budget.
right.
We spent more than that.
We spent, and I just wanted to, for the
one
record.
tree was what, 11 something, right?
It was,
Right.
that one big tree.
that if the need comes up, it isn't gonna show here, but if we have to remove a tree, we're gonna remove a tree.
Yeah.
That's what we did. So,
Safety.
and I just so, I just didn't want Mrs. McNeil to think we were ignoring her request. We did.
Not at all. Moving right along. Air Park.
So the same thing, if you're wondering about those salaries, it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
It's it's the explanation you gave me at DPW and
Yeah,
time and,
and it's not, I always struggle to try to explain this, because it's just confusing, but if you have, I'll just use $100 as an example, and that's all of DPW, right? It's transfer station, it's the guys down here, it's just everybody, it's the guys that do the cemetery. If we paid all of them $100, now I need to take percentages of that 100 and move it to different line items. It might be air park, it might be plowing, it might be summer work. So it's just, it's not, the dollar doesn't change, the $100 doesn't change, it's just where it's allocated. And
Right. so
it comes out
you
funny.
got broken down into different things, so like, for us, it's water, highway, and sewer, my time slips.
Yeah,
divided at work, so each one's its own budget and comes out of that, so yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we have so much, it's just
One's DPW,
confusing.
but if they're working at the cemetery, that comes out of the cemetery budget, if they're at the dump, it comes out of the dump budget.
Which, the Rod Holtzberg argument, it's all, 22, what is it, 2250? 2,800 hours or whatever. Anyways, we're not doing that. So, anything else on Air Park? Jumps on it.
What are we actually getting out of the air park? Other than wasting money up there?
I think it's a lot of
people,
dog
yeah,
walking and,
People use it as recreation.
yeah, that's.
Yeah, well, we don't actually have any profits from up there at all.
Why would we profit from a recreation area? I'm sick of hearing that.
I just, you know, it just, we gotta defray
we
the
don't-
costs a little bit.
How would we profit? How would
Oh,
we-
I don't know,
Well,
but
we have.
is there something that we can
It
do?
used to be, part of when I think of the air park, I think of the pavilion. And we do have the ability to rent
We can run
the
it.
pavilion. Nobody has rented the pavilion in quite a long time, but we don't advertise it
But
much.
I guess what I'm trying to say is there any way that we can make something happen to defray some of these costs?
Right.
Hey Reese, you've got an air park at your disposal if you want to put some
Yeah, I guess-
programming up there.
Well, I'm still looking when you're saying you got something going on. There's a lot
Have a
of,
balloon festival.
there's a lot of, well, there's a lot of grass though, that if you needed, to put on some, we were talking youth soccer and it grows so big, you can't fit all the soccer games down there,
Frisbee golf, I suppose.
or something. It's another, no pressure, but it's another tool in the toolbox if you,
But if we did all that, I'd scream bloody murder if you tried to charge for that.
well, it's.
What it would bring,
For other programs.
Well,
I guess
we should.
what I'm trying to say is, if it brings benefits to our taxpaying community, then we're
That's
getting a
good enough.
benefit.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't see that happening right now.
We do get, didn't
Yeah, I know, but
we?
what would you do? I mean, one time they
that's-
wanted to rent 35 acres of it for a solar panel park. No. It's,
Well,
it's,
I'm still got an open mind to put solar panels in and make money. No, I'm all for making money, but we do make some money. I was trying to look, don't we get some kind of stipend from the RC Flyers for this
no,
past year?
they
No, give-
donate to some of the local charities.
No, but I'm pretty sure this past year, we
Give us
got
$1,000.
them paying us $1,000, just like we got some money
Yeah.
to defer, because when you're talking $2,000-3,000, you should be able to get $2,000 or $3,000. I don't wanna make money, but it shouldn't cost, I'm with you,
Right, at
Rich.
least
It
break
shouldn't
even.
cost the taxpayers money. It just shouldn't. This Free Haven, I'm not a member of Free Haven, give everything away.
It's Fairhaven's
It's Fairhaven.
only recreational area that's wild, to a certain extent wild. And you got it, what are you gonna do? You're gonna have a credit card place where you can slip? I mean, what the hell? Let something be just Fairhaven's. Fairhaven's Woods.
Again, we can agree to disagree that I think you should generate revenue wherever you can,
Yeah.
and things should pay for themselves.
First, my personal feeling is we should revisit our
Right,
events in the park.
exactly.
We talked about that, but
Well,
it never went
I agree
nowhere.
with it. I thought we were gonna talk to those guys after the budget season, weren't we?
I thought we were gonna talk to them before budget season, but.
Yeah, let me get them at the next meeting.
Okay, but, so Air Park, we're good with for now?
Yeah. Moving on. Public health. I was not here for that.
No change?
No change.
I did talk to John, and he said he didn't want to
Yeah.
change it.
No, it's good.
All right. Keep on going. Transfer station.
Well, good, yes, okay.
What?
Nope, we're good.
I don't wanna rush anybody.
So, where are you at on that, your plan of opening that up to surrounding communities, talking about bringing revenue?
Yep, right, so it's, I haven't put any time into it. Yeah, I can't say that I have.
But it looks like it went down minus 2.3%.
Yeah.
So if you're asking, do I have any issues with what's sitting there? Anytime I'm saving money, it costs me, if you're putting in less than what we spent, putting the budget last year, I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm a little scared by that $55,000 mark. How did you,
The 55 for MSW,
yeah,
that was based on, average, I got an average of 53,000.
okay.
Over the
Right.
last few years, we had a high year in '23, but 47K is pretty low, so.
It's a pretty,
Okay, all right. I mean, it's a roll of the dice. When's our contract? Well,
I sent him, so our contract's up in June. I
The
did
one
send him,
extension.
I did
The
send him
extension,
an email. Oh, there's Peter. I sent him an email asking him, hey, where's our numbers? Because we won those like 2
Right.
meetings ago. And he still hasn't got back with me.
tell them we need that, because
That was the time to,
yeah, I mean, if they're gonna have a price increase, we need to know that. And if they want our business, we don't want a price increase.
so Peter from earlier in the meeting
Oh,
just showed
okay.
up online.
All right. You want a break? What do we got left to do here? Let's do recreation, and Reese can get out of here.
right.
I also, really quickly, sorry, I have an 8 o'clock meeting. Is there any way we can budget for the crosswalk lights downtown?
I don't know. We have to
Laura,
find-
I'm sorry, I didn't.
It's okay. I just wanted to make sure we got that in there, because we really need.
Where would that go?
So, I pulled some numbers after the last meeting. There was a few folks that were interested in getting this, push the button and the crosswalk sign flashes. We're looking at about between 40 and I'd say 45,000 to put up 3 sets right here on Main Street from downtown, the big crosswalk, the next one, and then the next one after that. There's 130,000 sitting in streets and sidewalks right now. Or if the board wanted, they could put it on the ballot, but I didn't want to just leave it because it seemed like we had some people interested.
And if we've got the money,
I can put it on,
why put it on the,
My only comment on that, it sounds like a great idea. I've had multiple great ideas questioned in the recent past here in Fairhaven by the voters. I would feel more comfortable if we put it on the March ballot as we'd like to spend X amount of money out of streets and sidewalks to put the flashing lights. And if the voters say yes, I don't have,
Then why are
we're
we
not,
here?
we're not, I'm going to tell you, it seems like downtown, most decisions we make are not popular and not supported.
I hadn't
And
noticed.
I'm just telling you the way I feel. So I'm saying, I don't think sitting here and saying, let's put them in, because understand from the health, this, and I'll get off my horse for a minute, but got the same people who didn't want 25 miles an hour and for health and safety, and now I want to put push button crosswalks for health and safety. I may be assuming something I shouldn't be. All I'm just saying is it's a good chunk of change. Let's go see. And when if they say yes, then fine. We've got the place and the money. We can word it. We can do it. Quite frankly, the people that want that right there, there's going to be 50% of the town going to be annoyed. They have to stand and wait for the thing to say go. And they're probably going to continue walking back and forth where they are.
Supposed to stop already.
Those ones are pretty immediate, but does that 45,000 cover the lights, or is that lights and installation?
that's just for the equipment. So
Right.
I imagine our guys would, so it's a solar unit
Yeah.
on a post right at the crosswalk.
Probably similar to the Castle and Fork Corner light that I'm trying to visualize. They have a crosswalk at the Castle and Fork Corners that you push the button to get over to where Dunkin' Donuts is from the thing. something similar to that. But I'm still saying, we're saying,
People aren't.
we're saying that a small number of people, I'm not sure the majority of the taxpayers want to spend $50,000 for crosswalk. That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying, rather than jumping out and just saying, let's just do it.
So the crosswalks that are lit up for the schools, did those go on the voter ballots?
Which I don't know we don't
The
do it.
elementary school, there's a,
You mean the flashing lights that come on at the time of day? See, I'm not talking a flashing light. I'm talking you push the button and you don't cross that crosswalk until you see the person walking. All they have in front of the grade school is that from this hour to this hour, 25 miles an hour. We wrote it into our ordinance to do that. And people had time, we didn't just arbitrarily make the decision, people had time to come back and give the feedback and say, yes, we want it, or whatever, or no, we don't.
I mean,
Again,
every city in America has crosswalk lights.
I'm-
Like, this is not an unusual or extraordinary request. If you have the money in the budget, this seems absolutely ridiculous. It's a safety issue. Multiple people have almost gotten hurt.
No, I agree with you. I mean, going through town, I've seen young kids almost get hit because
Yeah.
people come flying up there. I mean, if we got the money,
Yeah.
you know, no matter what we do, people are gonna be pissed off.
Whether we have those lights or not, people are still going to be
Then that's what
trying to go through and cars still aren't
we
gonna
have a
stop
police
them. I'm
department,
just,
right? The police department should sit there and write those cars tickets, pull them over, there you
again,
go.
I'm tired of being second guessed by folks after the fact. What's wrong with
No,
us
that's a
going
safety
out
thing.
and getting some feedback as far as whether our taxpayers even want to spend that kind of money?
Look, I pay a ton in taxes to live here, and I never second guess any of it. I spend thousands in school taxes, and I mean, my taxes are, and everyone's taxes in this room are really high. And I respectfully pay those taxes because I'm happy to be in this town, living in this town, but I want to live in a safe town.
Okay.
And part of it is, this is not an extraordinary request. Just a crosswalk light is literally everywhere in the United States. That is absolutely, there is no lighting down there except for the lights that Joe put in the park. Otherwise, it's pitch dark down there. And it gets dark at 4.
So
Right.
so when you're talking better,
anymore on my way to work.
Exactly.
are you talking better lighting? Or are you talking a crosswalk light that you push the button and go across?
Both,
Let's
I'll
not
take
split
it all.
Let's not split
I'll take
hairs
it
here.
all.
The argument is, do we make the,
Do we put it in the budget? And I'm saying I
Or
don't
do
want
we
to put it in
not?
the budget. That's just me.
What's the rest of you guys feel like?
If we have the money, I say do it. I mean, that's atrocious down there. It's
Rick?
I think it should be done, I really do. How we do it, I'm not exactly sure yet, but it's gotta be done.
But do you want to put it in the budget?
Yeah, I think we probably should put it in the budget.
Yes, yes.
This is the exact argument that I was making during the whole downtown debacle, right? I've been screaming for pedestrian lights for God knows how long, and it's infuriating when we do see a lot of people, the majority of folks who voted down the idea of making changes say we don't want anything changed. I do think, however,
It was in the project. that was
without
voted.
making structural changes to that location, adding lights is a public safety issue. That spans from the gas station to the laundromat is the most horrifying crosswalk I have ever seen.
this
in my
one
life.
here is bad. I've almost
It's-
hit multiple people in the morning when I go to work.
I think we have to include it in the budget, and if we don't, then, it will likely pass as an appropriation, yes, but I think it's our responsibility to consider public safety.
Yeah.
Joe?
So there is money in a reserve fund to do it. You don't necessarily have to put it in the budget, just to be clear. You can there's a streets and sidewalks reserve fund that has enough money to do it.
In other words, you make a motion. I think our budget, in keeping it at a percentage increase, our budget passed by 3 votes last March.
I wish you would.
I know money doesn't mean a thing to you, means quite a bit to most of us.
You know,
So,
what are you saying that for?
No,
I've been
no.
sitting on this board fighting about $50.
Well, I've got the floor and talking, why don't you let me talk, Mr. Chair?
No, I won't,
Well,
because
well,
you accuse me of something that you have no right to accuse me of. You
I
look at my record.
I know your record.
Yeah, you
So-
don't know it very well.
Again, I'm back at, if you want to take and make a motion to take out a reserve and go, I
You have reserves.
still think it's, I still think it's
for a
spending
reason.
money.
We're in this problem with the auditor. The auditor's found accounts that need to be reappropriated. We have it, if we're not spending it, and it's just sitting there, it's doing no good. So we have reserves. Spend the 40,000 to get those buttons. Don't put it on the ballot.
Again-
People, no matter what you're doing,
Again,
people be
I'm
pissing this
saying,
town.
we would
But
have
public
had the
safety
lights,
is
the
number one.
crosswalk and everything, the voters put petition together and basically came back and said, no. They came in here in large groups and said, no. What it feels like to me is we as the board think we're so great, we're just gonna ignore them and take a little bit of input, because right now I'd like more, all I'm saying is, I want more input from the taxpayers.
Go talk to people.
I mean, me personally, driving this every morning at dark and coming home at dark, that needs to be. That is atrocious, and I'm surprised I haven't personally hit somebody.
So if you put them in there, why wouldn't you put them on the crosswalk here? Why wouldn't you have them on every crosswalk? And what's the price tag for every crosswalk? Do we have $250,000 in our reserve? Because that's what it's gonna come down to.
Chip away a little at a time.
I think we need to chip away at it.
Yeah.
I think downtown seems to be where the most complaints are, so that's our starting point.
Okay.
Maybe next year we can put one up here, year after put one up farther. Just, you know.
You gotta start somewhere, or you gotta have a Scotch, another
You
Scotch.
can't do it all
overhand,
at once.
Essentially.
So what would you like to do? Would you like to make the motion to put it in the budget or take it out of the reserve account?
I'll make the motion to take it out of the reserve account for downtown. We've got it.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second that. But we, again, we gotta be proactive.
You're taking out sidewalks?
Let's.
So streets and sidewalks.
Can we
don't get
modify
done.
that a little bit to say the 3
Yeah.
locations
Yes.
downtown, so we know what we're talking
Okay.
about?
So
You have a
it's
motion, a second?
discussion now?
Yep.
Okay. My concern about taking it out of streets and sidewalks is the largest complaint in town has been our streets and sidewalks.
That's correct.
So
So we're
we,
gonna go fix
we have to
something
fix
that-
streets and
That's
sidewalks.
correct. That's what I
And
was
we
getting at.
have to budget for lights. It's infrastructure and public safety.
They both.
That's right.
I think we added to
That's
the
right.
budget. rather.
And why have the reserves every year if we're not gonna spend some of it every year? And then we gotta put a little more back in as we go.
Yep.
You know, that's the way it
Right,
should
reserves
work.
are only great if you.
But to Chad's point, if we take the money out of streets and sidewalk reserve, do we still have money to do repair sidewalks this coming
I
year?
mean, what if the DPW does it again? It must have saved us some money having them do it versus hiring it out.
So it saved us a ton of money.
Right. So I mean, they did a beautiful job. So there's no reason they can't dedicate a section or a summer or whatever doing it. I mean, the more they get comfortable at it.
Each year we need to do a section,
Yeah.
you know?
Right. So you're
Two
saying.
different things though.
Right. Right. But we're.
Well, it was the discussion, it was more of the discussion
So
of
you're
where we take
saving
it
money
out.
by having our own DPW doing sidewalks versus hiring it out. So,
So the motion was to replace,
Right.
to put 3 crossing lights
Downtown.
downtown.
Yeah.
no.
So this wasn't on the agenda. Can we put this on the next agenda?
So we
And then
can
it
have-
gives you some time to mull it over?
Absolutely. I
This
think
was-
making a decision like this on an
I missed
unwarned
this.
item
I think that's,
is not,
I think that's a very good.
I agree.
What I wanted to do was introduce the subject and then earlier and then move it to next time so we could have a broad discussion.
Because- because
But
I
I
like-
messed this all up, I'm sorry.
I might feel a
You got
whole
it.
lot different if 50 people were in the room and they're all screaming they gotta have that
Well,
crossing.
and you know, to that point, first of all, I really appreciate all of you doing this, because you're all dedicating your personal time to do this and to be here. And frankly, everyone in this town knows when these meetings are, and so if they care so much, they can come down here on Tuesday at 8 o'clock at night, because all of us are sacrificing all the other things we have to do to be here. So if they have a problem with it, it's not a secret, they can come down here anytime. But you know what? The times I've been here, nobody's been here except for that one thing about the house that everybody wanted. Other than that, it's like crickets. So thank you for supporting this, because it's just a basic common sense idea. And the numbers, split the budget, use the fund, the sidewalk looked great, the DPW that did it. I mean, these are essential parts of living in this community, and the sidewalks can only be built at a very certain time of year because of weather restrictions, right? So, like, we can use our common sense. I know I'm not on the board, but I'm on the EDC, and I'm saying that I feel like that, you know, these things can be worked out pretty simply.
You chip away at them.
Exactly.
There is an opening.
What?
There is an opening.
On this?
On the board.
There will be.
Next
March,
March.
to run, get on the board. Get on the board.
I'm not putting you on the spot, I'm just saying there's an opportunity.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I'm on the EDC, I'm
They
happy
need a
to
woman
see
on
what
the
I can,
board.
yeah, we do.
Yeah, actually, we do.
We do.
I agree with that.
Well, I'll think about it, I appreciate it, and I do appreciate the advocacy, because, I mean, we all live in this community, and at the end of the day, we just all want to be safe, and we want our families to be safe. It's a really, you know, it's for everyone.
So it'll be on the agenda for next time.
And I think what would go a long ways is a little bit of an education project with our sidewalks down there. There's so many people who stand way back on the sidewalk. People, a lot of them don't even see them. And then there is certain people who see them because they're cautious, and they'll stop, and then people they'll look at you like, then they'll finally decide they don't want to cross, and they wave you on anyway. And then, I do believe it was the chief that was telling me that he waited for a person to go across the sidewalk, and the car pulled out and went by him. You know?
Thank you.
Sorry.
See you later.
That's, you can't fix stupid guys, not even with duct tape, I'm sorry.
So Mike is going to withdraw his motion, and we will discuss his.
We'll talk
as
about
an
it.
agenda item.
That makes
Motion's
sense.
withdrawn.
That makes perfect sense. That's-
Thanks. I'm
You're
all
right.
fired up now, and you take it away from us.
I didn't know it was gonna do that. Yeah, okay, we were gonna, anything else in, we didn't get the transfer station, did we? Yeah, we did transfer. Oh, we were gonna do Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, so Reese could go home.
So Reese could go
I'll
home.
get home before 9, sorry.
It's kinda nice, but it ain't gonna happen for us.
Sorry, you want me to come up?
Yeah, no, wherever you wanna be, wherever you're comfortable.
Sorry. Yeah, it's gonna be our whole department, percent less. We're deducting referees. Rutland Little League takes care of our baseball referee situation, the old one. That was a lot of our money going to umpires. And now we don't have to worry about that, it's just all the referees. One thing, Vermont minimum wage is going up 34 cents, January 1st. So we're gonna allocate an extra $500 to our camp counselor wages. So that should cover that. But other than that, operating supplies, there's an increase, and transportation decreased. We only used $2,000 this year. We allocated $3,000 last year.
So we're increasing the 22,000 for camp counselor wages to another
22.5?
To 22.5, correct. So that should put us down around 1%.
Which one is it?
That is 010-7390 10.01, camp counselor wages.
Correct. Everything else.
And it's gonna be 22.
22.5.
22.5.
22.5. And only question on 010-7390 83.00 machinery and equipment. I just want to make sure, when I see zero there and what we were spending was close to 4,000, then 1,000, is that because we're having the town do the mowing, or we don't pay for the mowing, we have our own mowing?
We bought a
That-
mower
that's
last
something-
mower.
We bought a
last year.
mower, and nobody's getting paid to run it?
I am.
Okay, so you're already, so that's why.
We did my salary.
See, no, but that's why I looked at the zero and I said, I just
Yes.
needed to understand
Yes.
the zero.
Yes.
And I didn't know that was like, okay.
Correct.
No, that's good, I'm all for
Everything.
saving money.
Yeah.
So I have a question, because you said you're running basketball out of the Castle and Rec department. Do they charge?
That's just them letting us use their gym.
So they don't charge?
No charge.
Okay. I was gonna say, it's like, if they did, doesn't St. Mary's have a basketball court? No.
It gets shut down.
They're-
There's asbestos and
they're-
stuff like that. Now, Castleton Rec.
Floor.
Now, Castleton Rec, John Alexander, their rec director, I know pretty well, and his, our exchange for, letting us use their gym for, convenience is we run free high school clinics on the weekends, so they join in on those. So, kind of give and take, so. That's it for me.
The dividends of having a rec director.
Everything else is as proposed.
No, you're actually spending less money, like I said, how do you argue with spending?
Correct, spending
money
less,
than what we put
spending
into
less,
it?
making more.
We're
Pretty much all I've done in the past 4 months, so.
That's good news.
That's
Keep
good.
that up.
Yeah, try my best.
Keep doing a good job.
Yeah, thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
Any, no questions for Reese?
No.
See you later.
Thanks.
Thanks for hanging around.
Yeah.
Okay, Peter's still on?
Peter, can you hear us?
Yep, I'm here.
There you are, sir. Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you.
So Peter came in, he wanted to talk, and I asked him to talk a little bit about housing, and opportunities out there to maybe find funding and what it looks like out there in the state, so. You're up.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, just everybody knows the need for housing, and we're looking to scale. There's a lot of I guess wanted to share that are underway. Joe and I have been talking, about how to bring sort of housing initiatives forward in Fairhaven, move things forward, with partner builders, landowners. So I've been working, really specifically on factory-built housing and deploying that on either town-owned or town-controlled land, or when nonprofits own or control the land, so we can deploy housing more affordably. Technically workforce housing, but that missing middle housing that we're looking to expand. So right now, we're just over 2,000 units per year in the state. We really need to get to 6,000 units per year. So the big question is just how to do that. As you probably know and have seen, the state has put a lot of funds towards housing, but we haven't seen the numbers move up as much as we'd like. So, I think Joe and I have just had some really good discussions in regards to, properties that exist throughout Fairhaven specifically, and then, the type of housing that's really going to be attractive to the community, and either internal or external investment, both, with developers and builders that would be interested in participating in housing initiatives like this, but obviously most importantly, the home buyers that we're looking to invest in the community. So, around the corner, it looks like the Housing Finance Agency is going to open up round 3 of what they call the Missing Mill program, and that's where, basically the Housing Finance Agency is bridging the gap between the appraised value of a house and, what the house actually costs to build, to make that housing accessible to folks that are at 120% of the county's area median income or below, which is sort of that missing middle that we're looking to serve and attract, particularly into Fairhaven. And so
what they do is they can subsidize building projects up to 35% of the total development costs. What that looks like on average across the first batch of projects that they supported in their first 2 rounds was about $165,000 in what ends up to be a home ownership loan to the home buyer. And so that's a loan that you don't pay any interest on. There are no payments until you sell the house. And then when you sell the house, you're able to take the full appreciation. You just have to pay back the amount that the loan is for when you sell the house. But the idea is to keep that housing affordable, and that those savings roll on to the next home buyer. So that's something that's around the corner. So the question is, how do we get some projects in Fairhaven on developable land that could be submitted as proposals, to add some units, some subdivisions, ideally PUDs, and I'd open it up to the select board and anyone else who's in attendance, but just with ideas in regards to how we could potentially attract some partners and look at some properties, whether those are town controlled or there are some community members that are interested in I'm not saying giving away land, but providing an opportunity to evaluate land for development that we could develop in partnership with a team. And I work with regularly really good group of land planners, architects, builders. Joe's connected me with a number of really good builders down in your neck of the woods that I've talked with and connected with. Nothing's come to fruition yet, but I think you just need to keep pushing on these opportunities if we want them to happen. So just I think, Joe, you can expand on what I've shared here. There's the missing middle is just one of a number of different efforts that the state is making to help towns and developers, both nonprofit and for-profit, to sort of scale the work that they're doing to provide more housing. And just wanted to open the dialogue with the town and then find out, where I could potentially assist, and then how we could potentially, try to put together, a handful of potential projects through, collaboration with community members. So I'll stop there and just sort of open it up.
So I think a couple meetings ago I asked you about some of the empty properties in town and what we had currently, and do we ever get a list or an idea of what we have for empty houses in town, or abandoned houses or blighted properties? I mean, I know
I never did pull a blighted properties list, no. There are a few that are seemingly
with
abandoned.
that potential loan, would that be a good thing to, hey, this is what's coming down the pike, like?
Peter, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're looking to build homes, right? So you're looking for land, not necessarily just
rehab?
Do you do rehab? You're muted. You're still muted.
Did he hang up?
No, he's still there. He's just muted.
And the other one is Allen's property just went up for sale like 3 days ago, next to Shaw's.
I did finally put it up for sale.
There's a sign out front. There's been one out there for like 3 days now.
Yep.
Barn.
Mm-hmm.
Think about the old racetrack.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute there, Joe. I was just going to say that certainly blighted homes, that aren't beyond repair, that shouldn't be removed. I actually just was in Burlington, with the Champlain Housing Trust and evaluating, an existing home that Champlain Housing Trust has the option to purchase. I think I really like lots that are, where there are houses that are in question as to, whether they're worth investing in or whether it's removal and replacement. Often, often it's less about the cost as it is whether you want to preserve an existing structure or not. You know, a gut rehab can often be more expensive than new construction, even today. We're looking at, you know, just north of $300 a square foot, as if you're doing a really good job, sort of cost optimizing a standard home, you know, stick built or a volumetric modular home. So costs are pretty high, and that's why these programs exist, to keep home ownership accessible for our average Vermonters here. So yeah, I think, you know, thinking about lots that have homes on them, whether they're mobile homes or stick-built homes that, you know, may be in question, you know, if they've got water, sewer, you know, infrastructure in place and there's a house that, you know, maybe will need to be removed, sometimes that's a better lot than just that raw land that needs to be fully developed, right?
We are moving forward on subdivision rules and downtown designation, and so we can get into a better situation with Act 250, and I can't think what the name of that program is right off the top of my head. But the first
Subdivision bylaws?
yeah, well, we're
Downtown
just
designation.
starting that. We had our first meeting two Wednesdays ago, and we're gonna talk about it again this Wednesday, but it's part of that. It would make a lot of land in Fairhaven a little more attractive is the right word.
I was gonna say,
For
can we do?
developers.
So it seems like the state's pushing up for this already, so how are we gonna compete with other towns or?
Well, we have the same,
Right.
the same ability and the same Act 250 exemptions that they do. And it's just a matter, Fairhaven's in a good place because there's a lot of people that go to work in Rutland that need a place to live, and why not Fairhaven?
I think about our properties that we've acquired over the years due to delinquent taxes. Would those properties qualify? Would we be meeting our fiduciary responsibility to get as much out of that property as possible?
We'd have to talk to the lawyer, but yes, our goal would be to get as much out of the property as possible. I don't think if you put a new house on it, I don't think the former owner gets the benefit of a new home, though. I think they get the value of what it was. But I can have the lawyers kind of parse that out. There's a lot of homework this time around.
So Peter, just, are you, in your role, are you looking for landowners that have land that you can connect builders with? Are you looking for, I'm just trying to understand your role in the process.
Yeah, well, you know, I help manage Efficiency Vermont, you know, residential new construction programs. So we have a number of incentive programs and standards, and, you know, we provide assistance, both, you know, connecting partners together, builders, design professionals, developers, and then, you know, we also bring incentives to the table and help on the design side with affordable housing projects. And when I say affordable, you know, that's what we're talking about here, you know, is workforce, missing middle housing. So we just have a lot of projects happening throughout the state, and, you know, just looking to see, you know, if, and I think Joe could speak to like our discussions in the past and the role I've played in regards to coming out and talking with landowners, potential building partners, looking at existing house sites to evaluate the existing housing and the potential for new housing there, or if we want to look at retrofit. You know, I really can play, you know, sort of that early role just to try to get a project moving and bring in partners together. So, you know, really flexible on the front, but just, again, you know, just part of this overall initiative of getting housing projects moving. I know Joe's been motivated to collaborate, and so it's just putting out the feelers, you know, getting the select board members thinking about potential partners that we could approach, properties that may be really good opportunities here. Again, there's just good funding and opportunities within the state right now to scale housing development, and you know, Fairhaven, I think, would really benefit from helping take advantage of that. But it just requires, like you see in other areas, you know, partners really getting together and making these projects come together, right? The funding's there, but it really takes that local community to initiate getting projects that can get in front of the state and these potential funding opportunities.
Okay, that makes, yeah, I like Chad's suggestion with the old racetrack, because I could see if we had a builder, then you take the owner of that property. We as the town talk about the infrastructure and what we'd be willing to do to help get that affordable housing in there. And then I think of Green Mountain Mobile Manor, the person who's looking to buy that, the attorney that's administering that, if they're successful in getting that open, you could have up to 14 of those modular type or trailer mobile units. Those are probably the two that jump to my mind, Peter, that we're talking about here in town.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, well, you know, again, I'm happy to come down and meet with any community members. You know, just start talking about what these could look like moving forward. Expand on, you know, the funding opportunities that I mentioned earlier on. There's obviously all sorts of funding depending on the type of housing. Obviously, the missing middle is the big focus right now, and certainly plenty of funding coming towards affordable housing projects, you know, below median income. So, you know, with the state's Agency of Commerce and Community Development. So I just wanted to just offer up, you know, we have, you know, this dialogue going on with the Chimeras and the Skyline plan, you know, with the idea that hopefully we're manufacturing housing, and you know, what better scenario that, you know, 2026 we're starting out with projects right in Fairhaven potentially. You know, a perfectly integrated project here where we can be deploying some really innovative and affordable housing, you know, right by the factory. So that's part of the bigger picture.
Yep. Sounds good, Peter.
It, at this point, I think we just keep you and Joe in contact, and we try to find locations. Is that the best way forward, or?
I mean, that sounds good to me. Joe and I are in regular communication, so, you know, just continuing to work forward on getting the feasibility study rolling with the Skyline plan, and, you know, so doing this type of work in parallel with that, particularly as I'm hopefully going to be spending more time down at the plant with the consultant here in the coming months, just evaluating things and starting to work on, you know, the new factory layout and that kind of stuff. You know, jumping out of the factory and running over to, you know, some properties, meeting with community members, continuing to try to find some potential housing projects, I think would be great.
Okay, good. I think we're all on the same page, and we want that development, and I love the term missing middle, because that is absolutely the truth. Okay, we're gonna move on then. Peter, thank you for your time.
That sounds good, and I just to let you know, I've been having a little text back and forth with Sean, so just to mention that to the select board, Sean Chimera, and, you know, he is not gonna make it for the 8:20 appointment, but, you know, he has promised to prioritize this, and I've just requested, Joe, that, you know, the four of us get together, hopefully here before the next meeting, to try to move things forward. So, unfortunately, won't be able to attend, but thanks everybody for the efforts on that front.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, Peter.
Thanks.
Hey, have a great night. Thanks again for the time.
Yep, thank you. Thank you. Special events.
had one I wanted, that isn't down there that I wanted to talk about. And that's the Lumberjack Show. That, and again, that's the one, it brings a large number of people in here. The issue comes up about the one of, it's getting very tough for Brad with the insurance costs and everything. And I just didn't know if there was a way that either we could, under special events, you put we put a stipend in for like Memorial Day to cover the Shriners. Is there a stipend, or is there, I don't know what the solution is, or is there, I talked briefly with Joe about, could they be covered, the real cost that gets them operating, where it's tough to break even on it with Brad, is that insurance. Could they be covered under the town's insurance?
I think, so we talked about this last year, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah, we did.
It didn't go nowhere.
Well, I don't think
We didn't give them any money last year.
Our insurance doesn't want to cover that.
Our insurance wouldn't do it, if I remember
I
right.
don't know if we
That's what
asked
you
about
found
it.
out.
Yeah, we did. That was my impression.
Let me try, well, so they're not gonna cover, so the insurance company will not cover a third party. You know what I mean? So if Brad and his crew were volunteers, just like Seal and Fred are volunteers for the concerts, they're covered.
Park.
So
We
if,
don't fund any of the
Sure.
lumberjack though.
no,
Well, but I'm saying, if we put $1,000 under special events, for the lumberjack, it's a stipend that some of the biggest business that comes into town, I've been told, it's probably one of the biggest sale days, I've been told, at Turfy's, is when the lumberjack event, and I'm just thinking that
You're gonna spend money? You're the tax and spending guy here. Come on.
I have no problem spending $1,000 to make 10.
You're not
To
making
make
anything
10.
for the town.
But you make it for your businesses, which means that, and if they're successful,
I'm
we're
being
successful.
facetious.
But, no, I get it, I've been shocked too that I wanna spend $1,000. Wait till you hear the next request on this line item that I have. But if, either way, I'd like to put under these special events, the lumberjack show, and put $1,000 so that we can, if our insurance people say, no, you can't do it, fine, we have a stipend, we're able to give $1,000 that Brad can use to help defer the cost of the insurance that he's required to carry.
I don't want, you're starting an awful precedent
Then-
there. Anybody could put any show they want in the park and expect money from us to
The
supplement
only
that.
reason the show's in the park is because we allow the show to be
I
in
know.
the park.
I know.
I'm just back saying that,
You're gonna have the
ideal.
Chamber of Commerce next coming in and asking us to cover the cost
They
of the car
do,
show.
we do, if someone got hurt at the car show at the Chamber of Commerce, our insurance would be paying for that. Correct,
Well, it's a trick question, right? So they provide insurance for their event, whatever that is. But I mean, anybody can sue, it's just as an example,
Like I said,
somebody that sits in the back can sue us
Your
for
claim
anything.
works, because someone gets hurt, and they sue us, our insurance company's gonna pay.
We're covered, but they're not necessarily.
Can we do this? Can we put the $1,000 in as a placeholder now and get some more definitive answers from the LCT about what they will and will not cover?
Sure.
'Cause I'm happy to do that, but I don't wanna start subsidizing different events in the park.
This is an event that we've been doing year over year.
Yeah,
over
and we've never subsidized it.
I
Maybe our rec director could take advantage of that and set up some kind of booth or something on the other side of the park and get some revenue in.
So if Brad and his crew were volunteers, they would be covered. let's say it like that. If I ask VLCT, will you cover our program, they'll be like, is it in the park? Is it your program? Yes, it is. Then
Yes,
they would
it
be
is.
covered.
And it's every 4th of July, and they're volunteers. And if they're covered, we don't have to put $1,000 in if we have insurance.
But to that point, though, he's really gonna have to come, whoever it is, the volunteers, Brad, or the people that come, will really have to come in and they will have to file paperwork with us, and they really have to do that.
That they're
They
right.
can't just
That
come
they're
in and say, I'm gonna do this, and then just walk away from me because we don't do that.
Right.
You know what I
It's
mean?
no different than any other volunteer project where you have the little clipboard and you sign in that you're not gonna sue and all that good stuff for multiple volunteer
Yeah.
projects that I've been on.
Then that's the answer, we don't really have to have it.
I can get an email sent that takes the board, but it really is more like it's a town event now, it's not just somebody going and doing what they want to do over in the park.
Well, let's put the
I think
$1,000
it's become more of a town
placeholder.
event.
And if we can't
I
get
think
that,
we do.
and
We
if
work
we,
together closely.
we put $1,000 in as a placeholder, and if we don't need to spend it, if it's covered, fine. We've got an extra $1,000. But there was one other one here, and that is, under special events, the 010-7480-4402 concerts in the park. Found out at EDC last night that the concerts in the park would really like to do an additional night of music. Now we have lights and everything, and the real big cost is the sound equipment and everything else, the band. And they were wondering if they could get a little more money, and with the $7,500 that we've been doing for years, if that could be like, could that be $9,500? Could we put? I asked, what are you talking for the additional night? And they said, well, it's about $2,000 for the sound, between paying for the band and the sound equipment's getting to get they came up with the $2,000. Is what they were saying. So I go, okay, we're doing special events for the budget. I'll throw it out and see what the rest of the board think. So what do you think about that?
I don't have a problem with that, my way of thinking, because once again, it brings people into the town. Secondly, we haven't added to that funding in a long time, and it costs money to get people here. You know, and it's kind
So
of,
I'm fine with that, but we're under this, so we'll finish this, and I wanna bring up something too in special events.
damn.
So we're finished.
Well, no, I
No,
mean,
it's open for.
right.
That's when we're doing it. What's your
pleasure?
I think it's a big attraction. I mean, a lot of people, I have yet to be able to go to one just because timing, but I know a lot of people look forward to them, and like I said, I got to go to the Lumberjack show this past year, and that was probably the neatest thing I've been doing in a long time. So,
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it, I guess, as long as we can afford it. I have a problem cooking hot dogs. I don't want another night of hot dogs.
Says the committee didn't get a full agreement on the
Need
extra.
more volunteers.
Need more volunteers.
Volunteer when I'm off the board, which
so
is
we're raising that to 9,500 or
Yeah.
9,000.
That's what I was throwing out there. You,
okay.
okay?
Let's do it.
95 or 9,000?
9,000?
9,000.
9,000.
Yeah, 95.
95, because it was they said it was $2,000
Another two,
is what it would cost for the additional night. And
I had that
they're
first, then I
using
crossed it
budget for
out.
additional night. 9,500. Yep.
So, Christmas, what's that? What's the town do? Is that the fire truck? What do we do for Christmas?
That's for Christmas party for the town.
Oh, for the town place, okay. So, Mr. Christmas over here, I mean, it's no secret, you drive around like Whitehall, Granville, these towns, and they showcase their parks and stuff with decorations or whatever. I'm not saying we have to go that extreme, but I mean, if we just chip money in for lights for the park, like around the fence. And I don't know what that would cost, but I know, and maybe you would get better traction, or I can try finding out, Joe. I know Granville, from what I was told, they buy like the second-hand decorations from like Six Flags at like a discounted rate, and that's how they get all their decorations. So you might wanna call the mayor down there. My mom told me this, and my aunt's a business owner down there, so that's how she figured it out. They buy their, like, old decorations at a
Or
very
Six Flags and
cheap
directly and say.
rate. So I don't know, I mean, so maybe something to look into, maybe not this year, but obviously, you know, I mean, we got, I mean, I fundraised for the wreaths in the park, and that was a headache, but it looks nice. But I mean, some lights would, just to start off, I mean, the thing that I've gotten when I was fundraising for that, and what I've heard from a lot of people, like, even with me doing the holiday light tour, my wife and I started, people talk about what downtown used to be decorated like for years and years. I mean, and maybe eventually we can get back there, but.
Were you looking to add another 500 or what?
I mean.
Something.
Yeah, maybe
to start
another
the
500,
process to
right,
see
start
so
the
that
process for lights. I
becomes
mean, I don't know what it costs to run, you know, strand of lights around the park. I don't, on a fence, I don't know.
More than 500. They're like $30 a box now.
Right.
Okay, it's 7 feet.
Right, but.
But do you do it all in 1 year? I'm just saying, you
Right.
put it there and you buy some lights and then you can take $500 money, because you don't have to buy a new set of lights every year, hopefully, and that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, it depends on what grade you get, you do, but, no, I mean, yeah, I mean, if we can throw another 500 in, and that's why I didn't realize we threw a party for our employees, which is nice. But I didn't know what that was, so. Or we can do some research and we can revisit this later on.
Because I think you might be able to find that for your first year, put another 500 in there to get something, seed money to get it started. But I bet if you had a program that said when you showed the lights, I bet you'd get donations from even the businesses that said, hey, look, I'll give you $100 to help.
So
and I bet that turns into that 500 turns
a lot of
into
people, I
1,000.
think that's the direction I'm gonna go in, is I'm gonna start some kind of committee after the holidays.
What if we do something with our new existing lights as a decoration? Like the businesses could each decorate a light or something, like adopt a light or something like that?
There's
the
all the above, sure.
The itty bitty committee too, and see what they have in mind. They may have some idea of cost too.
Because
They don't wanna.
well, no,
We'll talk.
you run into, there's detail like
We'll
putting up the decorations, taking them down and storing them. There's all that. That's why it's nice to have a group that kind
Right.
of works that.
And then storage is a concern.
Do I hear you say that 500, we
Yeah,
make it 1,000, we give you an extra 500 for seed money and go from there?
sure.
It's only money.
But we may
You're
have,
shocked that you're spending money here.
second round, we may have to cut some of this back.
Well, that's fine. No,
Yeah,
I just-
we haven't got to
We ain't got the important stuff yet.
difficult thing. All right, that's it for tonight. But that's,
I just got one little thing I'd like to mention, if you don't mind. It's kind of all part of our budget. But back in the early stages of our budget, we talked about the rabies clinic. The rabies clinic that we have every year. Found a lot of investigative work that I've been doing and asking questions. I think we probably ought to not have that anymore. It's not making us anything.
we're not supposed to make money. We're supposed to get people,
But I don't know if it does, Bob. I don't know if it does what it's supposed to do.
it gets a lot of people that get their shots, that dogs get their shots and get registered, their dogs get registered, which is the whole idea of it. It's not necessarily to make money. Government shouldn't make money, it should break even. Shouldn't make money.
I don't have a problem.
We're not a business.
I don't have a problem with not making money, but I have a problem with not breaking even.
Yeah, I get that, I get that. But, I mean,
I think we were, what, 40 cents short of breaking even on the last rabies clinic?
Well, but there's more to that than what meets the eye. There's a lot of this stuff that doesn't have to happen every year. People get it because it's free, but it really doesn't need to happen only every 3 years.
yeah, They should,
They come every year to get it for free. You know?
well, tell them no.
But,
They always do that.
But that's the thing.
But-
I think it needs to be evaluated, this program.
Well, I get that.
I just wanted to, on page 9 of, it wasn't, animal control wasn't on our list for tonight, but I saw you didn't have any money for the rabies clinic.
No,
There's
we
nothing in there right
just,
now. I
it
understand
was taken out,
Oh,
and
okay,
then we talked about putting it back.
putting it back.
And I was in
You're
agreement,
recommending-
I was in agreement with putting it back,
And now you're saying.
but now I don't think
The
I am.
numbers, okay, then now I just wanna make sure I got where you were headed, and now I'm comfortable with it. I don't know, I'm sitting back there going, your heart be still, but I'm gonna agree with you for a minute here, Mr. Richards.
Anything's possible.
No, but I'm going, if
Weird world.
if our goal is to have registered animals with rabies shot, and even though if I'm just breaking even or making $37 at the end of the day, that to me is, are we accomplishing our goal? We're getting dogs registered, and no, I don't know how much it's year over year, if it's the same ones or nothing, but I'm gonna, if we truly want all of our dogs to be registered and have the rabies shots,
We should,
I think the program's important because the cost of paying for a vet visit and a rabies shot will deter
Right, your vet visit alone's outrageous
a lot of
now.
people. I mean, and I know I'm sitting here talking free haven and everything, and I sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, but this is one I'm going, I'm going, this is one I really understand.
Right, 'cause that goes back to
the importance.
public safety too.
we're back to that. Yep.
So you're protecting your
Well,
residents
we're
too.
gonna talk about that.
We're gonna talk about the whole thing again, it's at 0 now, and we'll do one last thing, but I'm going, geez, I don't know what everyone else thinks, but
Well,
that's,
yeah, we haven't got to reserve accounts yet, so that's gonna be rough.
it is gonna be rough.
Anyways, we're done with that.
Yes.
The parking lot, we had our first meeting on the subdivision regulations and the neighborhood designation. One of the interesting things of that, and I won't try to be long on this, I was gonna do it in a roundtable anyways. There's a lot to it, and one of the things I think is gonna be the biggest hurdle for the town is to get a group together. You need a group of volunteers and town officials and everything who actually become a partnership. And I'm thinking,
A review board of some sort.
well, it's not necessarily a review board, it's more of a promotion, that you get things going. The review will still stay with the planning commission.
Okay.
But getting that board is very, very specific in the downtown designation. So you need somebody there that promotes that. They call it, in other towns, they call it partnerships, and it's a government and business partnership. And that'll be interesting to try to get that group together, and we're gonna talk about that tomorrow, and how that will look. We should have, by the middle of December, we should have a draft of subdivision rules. And I sent you guys all subdivision rules, one of them was 98 pages long or something like that. We don't need that. Our subdivision rules will be in the 15 pages. And a lot of times, they mimic our zoning regs that we already have. So it should be okay, it shouldn't be too awfully controversial. The three that we got, I didn't see anything that jumped out at me that was scary. There's some, the planning commission is the people that are on the planning commission right now are not in favor of a design board, which is another option to go with, and it kind of usurps some of the planning commission responsibilities. So you don't have to have that.
Right, that's, I think, the development review board
Development review
that
board.
Castleton uses. It's not a requirement. It's the one, like you said, if you have a planning commission that's really
Yeah.
on top of it, you don't need the development review board in my opinion. When you
Right.
don't have a real active.
One of the things is, one of the things is you almost, with the development review, you designate a architectural structure that is favored in the town of Fairhaven. And, that's just asking for trouble. That's just asking for trouble. I mean, some of the people on the board hate neon lights, so if you had a development review board, they would be screaming and yelling about such things. So anyways, we're starting, we'll do some stuff tomorrow. We should have mid-December, we were promised some draft subdivision rules, and as soon as I get them, I'll show them you guys, because we'll need to know what's red flag, Anyways, that's where we're at. It's gonna be involved.
When you get that draft you're working on, or you get something closer, I like going online to your planning commission site, and if you plug it over there, like the draft plan you did for zoning, it's great to look at it there, because I lose track of it in the email. It comes through the It looks better when I see the document you guys are working on, the active one.
I have a terrible time reading off the computer for some reason, so I make copies. I didn't make a copy of the 98-page one, I can tell you that. Okay, so that's all that's going. Anything else on the parking lot? Board roundtable, Rich?
Well, I think we've covered quite a lot of the stuff I had, the water episode in the trailer park is one of them. But, we need to move forward on that, get this behind us. Very, very soon and quickly if we can.
Is that nothing?
It's a beautiful thing. Sir?
I'm good.
I'm good.
So am I just pontificated enough. Okay, financials.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the payroll for $36,640.57.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Motion to approve the warrant for $75,136.67.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? That's a low one.
And the checkbook status is at $1,011,213.21. Must be, we got a school payment coming up pretty soon. A big chunk's coming out. Yeah.
There we go.
All right, we have an executive session.
Make a motion to go in executive session for attorney-client communications under 1 VSA 313A1.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.